Welcome. I have been asked to make a video about leg cues. So I'm actually going to make two videos. The first one will be why we use leg cues and how we use leg cues. And I'm going to use Runner here because he's 9 years old and pretty good at responding to these cues. So I'll show you how they should work with him. And then in the second video, I'll get a younger horse, Silver, and show you how to teach your horse to use these leg cues. So I'm going to start off with forward. To get your horse to go forward, I just squeeze with both feet, okay? I don't kick my horse. Kicking is a punishment. You wouldn't want to be kicked either. And so I use, if he doesn't go, so I'm going to squeeze with both feet, and he should go. And if he doesn't go, then I'll cluck. And if he still doesn't go, then I'll spank him with the tail end of my rope, or my reins actually, if he doesn't go, okay? So when I'm riding my horse, I use what I call an active leg. And I'm exaggerating everything for this video so you can see it. See how my legs are just bumping him? And that doesn't mean go forward. Squeeze means go forward. That bump just means keep walking. Okay, it's kind of an active leg. When I want him to stop, I will take my legs off and just stop riding him. You notice I didn't pull back. So he's riding. I tell my students, you ride with your feet and your seat. You don't ride your horse with your hands. Your hands are just a backup. So you say, well, my horse doesn't do that. Well, I'll show you in the next video how to teach your horse to do these things. Squeeze with both feet to go, and you just keep gently bumping like that to keep them moving, and then take your legs off to stop. All right, now, moving your horse side to side. We use our legs in 3 different positions. Now, if I just stand up in the saddle and sit back down, that's the middle position. You could call it the neutral position. And your legs should be there most of the time when you're riding your horse. The only time I would move those legs is I would move them forward to the front position to move the horse's shoulders, or I would move it back to the back position to move the horse's hip. Okay? So it's easier to just number them. The front position is 1, the middle one's 2, the back one is 3. I think that's an easier way to remember it. So you have 1, 2, 3, and again, I'm exaggerating it a little bit so you can see it. So if I want the horse to move his shoulder, and I'm going to have to use a little bit of rein so that he knows not to go forward. If I want him to move his shoulder, I'll come up to leg position 1, and I'll push first with the calf of my leg here, and I'll turn my boot with my heel forward so he feels that movement when I turn my leg, and that's a pre-cue to tell him, get ready, you're about to do something. So I turn my leg, push with my calf, then with my heel, then with my spur if he still doesn't move. And that's called a turn on the hindquarters. The only thing he's moving is his front, like that, okay? If I put it back to leg position 3 and push, this is called a turn on the forequarters. And I'm alternating the pressure to keep him going. And I don't typically turn him 360 degrees, so he's kind of wondering what I'm up to here. All right, so I just did that bump, you know, push, release, push, release, push, release, and the same way with the front, okay? Now, let me show you a side pass, and I'll have to turn and face you here to do this. The side pass is done from leg position 2. So if I want Runner to side pass to my left, I'm going to take let me turn where you can see a little better. Okay, there we go. So if I want him to side pass to the left, I'm going to take my left leg off. Think of it like opening the door. Then I'm going to push my right leg on, leg position 2. Again, start with my calf. If he doesn't move, I'll add my spur. If he still doesn't move, I'll add a moving, bumping with that spur. Okay, now we'll come back the other way. Right leg off, left leg on, leg position 2. Okay, he's being a little bit lazy, but he's doing it. Coming there. Okay. And now, let me show you a half pass. I was trail riding this past weekend, thinking I was over by Cortez, Colorado, where they had a lot of boulders and cactus. And I was thinking how nice it was to have a half pass. So there's a cactus here, and it's going to hit my leg, so I just, leg position 2, while we're still moving, we just half pass away from the obstacle, okay? And you can do these at any speed, by the way, once your horse knows them. And then the last thing I'll show you is what's called haunches in or haunches out. Sometimes it's called two-tracking, where as I'm moving, I'm going to move the horse's hindquarters to his right, like that. and now to his left, and that's from leg position 3. Okay, leg position 3. And what that's used for mostly is to set your horse up for a lead departure. So the last thing I'll do, just to show you this, is I'll just take off at a lope, and I'll lope a real small circle here to the left. So I'm going to push his hip to the left. All right, put him into a lope like that. Now I'm going to turn him just by using my feet. All I did was put my leg up to leg position 1 for the turn. Active leg. Now take my legs off. Oh, okay, that wasn't a very good stop. He can certainly do better. Back up. Okay. All right. So if I weren't doing the video, I probably would have corrected him a little bit, because that wasn't a very good stop. But hopefully you can see now why we use our legs. And when you get a horse broke, a broke horse, you should ride that horse at least 90% with your feet and your seat. If you think about these vaqueros who use those big spade bits, and maybe you've looked at those and go, oh my goodness, that's so harsh. But it's not, because if you watch those guys, the only thing that spade bit is used for mostly is just to get that horse's head in that position right there. And those guys will put their hand right there, and they'll be riding those horses full blast, and their hand won't move more than half an inch in any direction. That's what they use it for right there. They use their feet and their seat to guide their horse. Okay, so that's how and why we use leg positions. Stay tuned for the second part of this, and I'll get our younger horse out and show you how to teach this to your horse.